It's a great honor to welcome our next guest. It's Kyle McCracken, who is the CEO of iFrog Marketing Solutions and is doing so much good work with dealers around the nation. And Kyle, this is your first time at the conference, so I'd like to welcome you to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Ted, thank you. I'm very, very happy to be here. Very grateful.
Hey, I think the audience is as well. And it was not, Kyle, in the far too distant past that when we talked about marketing for dealerships, we talked a lot more about the front end. And now all that has changed, and the focus is squarely on the opportunities that are in service and fixed operations. And Kyle, that's where you come in, because there's a whole lot that's happening. And I think for our audience, first, give us your story. Tell us a little bit about Kyle McCracken and iFrog Marketing Solutions.
Yeah. So, 6 years old, maybe 8. I remember my family has always been in the automotive business, for one. So, when I was 6, 8 years old, I was going to the dealership with my dad. I remember every weekend, and he focused on service and he ran service departments. And so I got a briefcase because I wanted to be like dad. So I was running around in the waiting rooms and helping out with various different things. And so, having grown up, been around the business. And then when I was 16, I met my as of wife now, Angie, and her father actually owns Preston Automotive Group. And so my dad worked for her dad. And so we ended up getting married. And so we always joke around and we say, it was an arranged marriage. We're 39 now, or I am. And so my brothers, all of them are work for Preston Automotive Group. Essentially, I'm an employee. I like to say I'm an employee as well. But so there's automotive. And so when we talk about deep roots, I am deep rooted in the automotive space. And so I actually, having been around automotive, I spent a good career of my life in tech. And so, when I had the opportunity to join iFrog and ultimately lead it, it was focused on the technology and the technology stack that we used. And so, making sure that we're forward thinking into the future. And so I'm very excited and very honored to lead this company.
And, I thought that frog behind you looked familiar. Preston Automotive Group is very well respected throughout the country. A lot of the speakers here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and by those I mean Fred Beans, Bob Tasca, who's here with us at this event, have referred to Dave and what Preston Automotive Group is doing throughout the nation, and it's one of the best led dealership groups that I know of. And so again, that's a badge of honor. So is that kind of where the "Born in a Dealership" slogan comes from, Kyle?
Great question. Everyone asks it. What's up with "Born in a Dealership"? People want to know more, and so the story goes back to 2007, right? Okay. And so Dave was forward thinking, and he said, I had this physical lot, and what about my virtual lot? And so Born in a Dealership, we say it wasn't iFrog at the time, but it was basically iFrog was on the lot of Preston Ford back in 2007. And so 2015 is when we actually became incorporated, iFrog Digital Marketing or Digital LLC. And so we, as a company, took our lessons and we said, hey, there's other dealers that are going through the same struggles. And part of how this came about was they were pitched by vendors over and over and over. And they said, we're tired of getting, that honeymoon phase that a lot of us encounter. And so they capitalized off of what that was. And so the ultimate goal at my end of, look, it's Preston Automotive Group. We're tightly integrated, but it's taking the strategies and lessons learned in the testing, proving them out with the Preston Automotive Group, and bringing that to market for other dealers, right? Because they want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to succeed. So I think that's what's unique about Born in a Dealership. And so when we talk about Born in a Dealership, it's more than that, right? You and I both know every 30 days, that's how dealers are living their life, right? Day one of the next month, it's a new month, right? How can I be more aggressive? How can I capitalize? And so we understand that. We also know right now they're battling for inventory, right? Dealers are battling to get people into vehicles that they need. They need messaging that they need their virtual lot looking as good as their physical lot. So there's all these different things that we embody and teach our people, because at the end of the day, as a marketing solutions company, we drive high quality traffic to your virtual lot. And we know that if you don't get the opportunity to sell, well, then for the dealers, it's not an opportunity for them to put food on the tables for their, family and kids, so we take this very seriously and we understand, and it's all about putting ourselves in the shoes of the dealer bodies.
And from my perspective, Kyle, let me tell you, when you say born in a dealership, how important that is. There are so many companies in this space who have representatives who have never worked in a dealership and have never come up and know the struggles that you're talking about right now, have not lived and experienced that inventory shortage. Although I can't remember anything quite like we're going through right now, but they don't have that retail experience, Kyle.
Yeah.
And you have got that, being in a dealership at such an early age, I mean, you remember that for the rest of your life. And, so the fact that you are working with dealers and have this relevant, deep roots in retail, I think is a big differentiator for you, because I see so many companies, Kyle, that, the dealer can sniff that out, in about 10 seconds. They know if someone's been retail or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we ask for pump in, pump out reports. There's all sorts of things that we're asking for that, we're part of their business, right? And so we want to make sure we know their demographic, who are their competitors, all these things. And so it all ties back to born in a dealership.
So let's talk about service. What do you feel are some of the opportunities right now that dealers should be taking a look at?
Yeah. So we've historically talked about why buy. And if you talk about the why buy, it's always been on the front end, right? So why purchase from here? What I've seen is we're not talking about, well, why service here? And so I think what happened with COVID and the inventory, COVID especially, it exposed a lot of dealers. And so they're looking at their processes and they said, oh, we can't get the inventory now. We have to shift to the back end. And so it is making sure that you are, and I've talked to a lot of dealers, and a lot of dealers have said, I don't want to drive traffic to my service lane because I can't service the vehicles because of X number of reasons. But now's the time to fix that. And so some of the things that, if we look at the market, and I think you can probably relate, is convenience, right? Have you ever had mobile service?
Up until about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I wasn't even thinking about mobile service, but now that's a mainstay.
Yeah, mobile service, again, I had my car service with Preston Automotive Group, whatever, but, it's a hot item. And I think about the time that I saved, and it's all about convenience. People are willing to pay for convenience too. I got my car service and I didn't even have to leave. I was at work. They came, they picked my keys up, they did what they need to do, then they rolled out. And so I just think of the time savings. And I think what we need to realize as, especially for automotive, not everyone wants to go to a dealership to get serviced, right? And so you have to make sure you're capitalizing off of where the market's going, and just I think it's all about being open-minded, right? Taking a step back and understanding what do customers truly want? You're still going to have the people that come in the office, but so I see that's a big piece. Online scheduling, when we didn't, I think other dealers can relate to this. Sometimes you'll submit online service and it goes into the abyss. You don't get, so making sure that you have processes in place so that you don't lose leads. I think that's a number one opportunity for any front end, back end, is making sure that you're following up and you're following, I say the same thing to our employees, over communicate. And over communicating means that you're on it daily, making sure you're following up with the customer. Time, can't stress enough, the time matters. And when you're marketing online and you say, we get you in and out, do you really do that?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so making sure that your messages are relevant, because the last thing you want is a marketing message out there that says, we do get you in and out in 15 minutes, and then it ends up being an hour and a half. And so making sure that you're tracking and managing time, I can't stress that enough. Some other things, appreciation programs. We talk about dealer bodies, dealerships, and they're family oriented, they're community based. And, I know historically you might have seen healthcare workers, free oil changes for healthcare workers, right? Yeah. They're on the front lines doing all these different things, but get creative for how you can get people to get into the back end. One of the dealers that we actually service in Florida, they have Women's Wednesdays. So if you're a woman, you come in and get service, you get a discount on that. And it's about the experience. It's about making sure that, you have the customer service in mind, and that loyalty factor in mind as well.
And I think convenience is something that has really been driven home these last couple of years with the season of COVID that we're in. Mm-hmm. I know Brian Benstock, just prior to COVID, told our conference, Kyle, up at Paragon Honda in Queens, New York. Brian said, they had done a study and they found that Amazon was up 1,900%. And the difference between searching for something on Google was that you have to go find the product and then go to the location to purchase it on Google. But on Amazon, they would bring the product to you. And it has been proven now that we will pay for that convenience, whether it's fast food from the restaurant or groceries. So that time and convenience, I think, is really important. What about staffing and training at the dealership, Kyle?
I can't stress this enough. I think COVID has changed. Actually, I know based on the conversations that I've had, COVID's changed people, right? It's changed the lifestyles that they want to live. And not only that, but just the, making sure you're checking in with your people is important daily, because in the end, happy employees equal productive employees. And so if we talk about the back end, I can't tell you how many conversations I had where I one-on-one had conversations with dealers, and they're, we talk about service campaigns, but yet they don't want to drive service because, one, I have I'm being blunt here, but I have a toxic employee that, just is, I don't know what to do with this employee, or I don't have enough techs that are certified, or I don't have techs in general. And so making sure that you as a dealer are, reaching out to local community colleges to get partnerships, making sure that you're reaching out to OEMs, and OEMs have certification, programs that you can, get people, vocational high schools, those partnerships will get you the people, because the people are out there. And so the other thing is making sure that they're trained. One of the big things you need to understand is, as an employee, is why does this company exist? Who do I serve? And what are the core values that you need, from a customer service perspective, that you need to live daily? At iFrog, we call them what matters. And so our core values are serve with purpose, right? So I don't know how many people start their days, but have an intention. I do yoga, which is, this is off topic, but it's setting an intention for your day. And it's really, am I doing everything that's pushing the needle? And so when we take that at iFrog and talk about our clients, it's the same thing. Act with urgency. Urgency, I don't, in the automotive space, I think of one word: speed, right? And we hear like speed to the lead, move that metal. And so every day matters. And when dealers are living in 30 days cycles, every day that the marketing, strategy, whatever it is, campaigns are not launched, that's missed opportunities. So, for iFrog, it's act with urgency.
Also, From iFrog's perspective, Kyle, you look at everything in terms of the customer lifetime journey. It's not just sales and it's not just service, but you put it all together in one.
Exactly. I think, the front end of what you always hear is the buyer journey. The buyer journey ends post sale, right? And then it becomes the customer lifetime journey. And so making sure that you're promoting your service, your parts. There's a lot of people out there that don't know shops have, full service accessory departments, right? And those OEM parts, even though there's not tons of margin there, it's still an opportunity for you to keep the customer, right? And so, it's about that. I always view it as a circle, right? It's a holistic view, and it's making sure that you're retaining your customers. It's making sure that in that post, buyer journey, it's making sure that because you want them to come service with you, right? No doubt. And so we have to tailor our marketing strategies around how you get them through your service lanes. And then, and more importantly, when you're training your employees, teach them, hey, inventory's hot right now. Why not appraise a vehicle that's in your service lane, right? I got something in the mail the other day that said my home is worth X amount. I forget what the messaging said, but it was did you know your home is worth X amount? So think about the customer coming through the service lane and capitalizing off of that as well. Yeah.
I love it. And I can relate to that as well. Kyle, if our audience wants to reach out to you at iFrog Marketing and find out how you can help them tie all of this together and help provide them with a lot of the great work that you do for other dealers and dealer groups around the nation, Kyle, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Best way is always my cell phone. It's at the bottom of this ticker. Secondarily, my email address.
Great. And they're both here at the bottom. By the way, the website is ifrog.com. Email is kyle@ifrog.com, and the 917 area code 902-4378. Best way to reach Kyle. Kyle, thank you so much on behalf of the fixed ops community for all that you do. And, we hope we're going to have you back to learn more because we're constantly evolving, right? And there's so many things happening in our industry. So Kyle at iFrog Marketing Solutions, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Ted, I'm honored. Thank you very much.